Hey guys, welcome. This is a brand new channel. Well, it's my old one, but I'm restarting it. So today I just wanted to talk about something that I've been going through, something that's been pretty traumatizing in my life, and that is getting silicone shots. So let me tell you guys the story. It's crazy, it's pretty traumatizing, and I want to speak up about it just because I think that not many people speak up about it. I've heard a lot of girls going through this, but I haven't seen many of them come forward with them. And I know that it's very common. It's common in Hollywood. It's common within influencers. It's common, the gay culture, the transgender culture. And we just see the good, but we never hear the bad. So I wanted to talk about it just because it's something very traumatizing that I'm still kind of going through. So let's get this story started back at the beginning, because I'm gonna go into details with you guys. So basically, another trans woman who contacted me via Facebook, and she told me, hey, there's this lady that she does silicone injections, would you be interested? I just gotten my BBL done, so I was not interested. I was scared, so I declined. She gave me her info. So as time progressed, I was satisfied with my BBL, but I wanted better results. So I wanted bigger hips, and I wanted a bigger butt, and I wanted just that Coke bottle body, you know, like who doesn't want that body? So I finally contacted her. Her name's Elizabeth Lamb, and that's what she goes by on Facebook. So if you guys have any contact with her, please refrain from getting any silicone shots from her. Elizabeth Lamb. So I got in touch with her. I was living in LA at the time. I finally got the courage to do it, and she came over to my house. She did the silicone shots, which they hurt a lot. It's done with a needle that they use for veterinary purposes, so it's a very thick needle. She brings the silicone with her in a bottle, like a baby bottle, and then she just starts filling the syringe up, and she injects it into your body. So I had done it 2 times already, and everything was fine. I was loving the results. My hips were looking amazing. My butt was looking great. I never got any type of sickness. Like it was sore for like a day or 2, but nothing that you couldn't deal with. So I was in the process of moving back from LA to Denver. I moved here in February, and I was gonna go get the rest of my things in March, but then the pandemic hit and I was not able. So finally, I was able to pick up my things, and this was April 30th. And I decided to go pick up my things just because the lease was ending. We had to be out of our apartment in LA like ASAP. So I was like, okay, I can't let my things get thrown away. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go pick up my things, and I am going to get some silicone shots. Since I'm there, might as well kill one bird with 2 stones, or 2 birds with one, whatever. Same, you guys get the gist. So I decided to contact Liz, and she came over. Everything was normal. She just came and gave me the silicone shots. She gave my friend silicone shots as well. And then basically after she left, my leg just went it was like flat. Like it was, instead of it being curvy, like it went super flat. Like you could see each individual pore, and it was like bloodshot red. So the left-hand side seemed to be fine, but the right side was just, the pain was not getting better. It was increasingly getting worse and worse. So I end up, I'm just like, all right, everything's gonna be okay. I've done this before. Like, it's just probably a little bit different this time. I did get injected a little bit more than normal. I paid $1,000 for my injections, silicone that I gave to her, which normally I would do like 600, 800. So I paid for $200 worth more silicone shots. So I thought that maybe that's what was it. Like maybe my body is having a hard time adjusting to these silicone shots because I did more than normal. So I went on with my day. I was in town in LA, and I have a significant other, someone that I truly care for, that lives out there. So I decided to go see him in the valley and hang out and just see him before I leave. So I go to the valley. I'm driving there. Of course, I still feel the pain on my leg, but I'm thinking it's nothing. And it's like a pain, like a stinging pain. It felt like if it was burning. If you burned yourself on your stove or something, but it was like on the leg, or like you like a curling iron burn. Like, it was pretty painful and it was there, but I was just ignoring it. So basically I just went to my friend's house. We were hanging out, and then all of a sudden it was like already, it was, before I knew it, it was already later. Like, it was like probably like 11:30, and I still had to drive back home from the valley because I had an early flight. So then I'm like, all right, I'm leaving. It was great seeing you. Thanks for having me over. So I'm like, I'm gonna use your restroom before I leave. So I get up to use the restroom. When I get up to use the restroom, my vision just starts blurring out. I start feeling super dizzy. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, so I'm like, all right, like I start freaking out and I'm like screaming my friend's name. I go and lay down on his bed, and I was like, well, maybe I'll leave in the morning, because like the way that I just felt, like I don't think that I should be driving, because what if that happens while I'm driving? Like, what if my vision blurs out and I crash and die? So I lay down on his bed, and then I started kind of like just getting like cold sweats, and I just started feeling really terrible. And I was just telling him, you know what, maybe we should call the ambulance, call the paramedics. I don't feel well. He's like, no. He's like, I'm just gonna take you to the emergency right now in the middle of the pandemic. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? So he gets me dressed. He helps me get dressed because I'm having a hard time. Like, my vision keeps blurring out. And he gives me his loose sweatpants and a loose sweatshirt, because I was wearing like a tight dress, and I was just like, I can't be wearing that right now. Like, my leg is killing me and I don't feel well. So he gets me dressed. He starts walking me to his car. As I'm walking to his car, I collapse. And I just, like, my vision blurs out, I collapse. He starts freaking out. He helps me get up. And then he's just like, it's okay, come on, get up, please get up. So I get up, he gets me in the car, and I look at myself in the mirror, girl. And when I'm telling you, I've never seen myself that pale. Like, it was scary. Like, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what the fuck? I'm gonna die. Like, I am so pale right now. This is insane. Like, what's going on with my body? So we get to the emergency room, and I told him, you know what? I don't think that I'm gonna be able to walk into the emergency room by myself. If I walk in there by myself, I'm gonna collapse again, and I don't wanna do that. So please go get a wheelchair. So he goes and gets a wheelchair for me. And he takes me into the emergency room. I have to tell him everything that happened. You know what? I did illegal silicone shots. I don't know what's going on. My body seems to be shutting down on me. So they check my blood pressure. My blood pressure is super low. And they're like freaking out. They're like, okay, we're gonna get you in. So they got me in right away, girl. Like, I went in, they started like checking on me. They did a CAT scan on my leg. They said they saw the incision. They said that it was a bacteria. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like laying there. The same thing happens again. Like, my vision blurs out, my blood pressure drops. So basically my body is shutting down at this time, and nobody knows, like, okay, like what's going on with her. Like, people are freaking out because they're like, okay, we're gonna keep you overnight because, yeah, it's not normal that your blood pressure is this low. So they connect me to the IV, put me on a bunch of antibiotics, and I'm like in so much pain. I could barely sleep from the pain. Like, I remember waking up like every 2 or 3 hours. Like, I would take a painkiller and it would help me sleep. So basically, I'm just like, okay, what the fuck's going on? I missed my flight the next day. I was to fly out in the morning. I'm at the hospital and they're just trying to get rid of me. They're like, you know what, girl, you need to go. There's coronavirus going on. You should not be at the hospital. If you're gonna heal, it's gonna be better that you heal at home. So I go home to my old apartment, my LA apartment, get all my stuff, and I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I have to literally go to the airport right now, and with all my stuff, and I had so much stuff. Like, I literally had 3 luggages full of stuff, heavy ass suitcases. Luckily, I had my best friend with me that was able to help me out with this, and I'm so thankful for him, because I don't think I could have done it by myself. I have to get a wheelchair to my to the airplane. Like, I asked for help, so I was like, I can't walk on my leg, like I'm like hurting so bad. So we get on the airplane. I'm like freaking out on the airplane because I'm okay, like I'm trying to sleep it off, but towards the end, I'm like, right now during the pandemic, they're not serving water, they're not giving you snacks, nothing. So we were rushing because we were about to miss our flight, that I didn't get any water before I got on the flight. So I was like so dehydrated, and I'm just like, what the fuck, I'm freaking out. Like, so I'm just like, somebody, can you guys please give me water? And they're not responding to me. So we finally like land, because it took us forever to land. For some reason, the plane before us couldn't land. So we kept like circling and circling like until we finally got to land. And then my mom picks me up at the airport, which I'm so thankful. Like, I have the sweetest mother ever. She picked me up at the airport, her and my sister and her boyfriend, and they brought me to my mom's house, where I personally decided I was gonna heal, because I didn't want to be home by myself. I live by myself in a studio. So I didn't want to like be healing by myself, and I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to do much for myself. So let me tell you, like, I get there, the next 2 weeks were fucking hell. Were hell. It was like, I literally talked to Jesus every day, just with everything that I was going through. Like, it was terrible. Like, my leg, instead of getting better from the antibiotics that I was given, like, first, when they say things get worse before they get better, believe me, they got fucking worse. Like, it was insanely gruesome. It looked like my leg was rotting. It looked like, I don't know, like, it was disgusting. And I do have clips that I'm going to show you guys of like what I went through during these 2 weeks, because these 2 weeks were insane. Honestly, I don't know where I got the strength from. I spoke to Jesus a lot for strength and guidance, and he's gotten me through it. It's still something that I'm going through. It still hasn't healed 100%, and it's just insane. The pain was insane. Like, I literally, when I was in the hospital, I got poked so many times. They were trying to figure out what was wrong. And then I came home and I was just going through so much pain. Like, I was taking antibiotics, I was taking painkillers, I was taking so many things to help me get better, and it just didn't seem to get better fast enough. And my blood pressure was still low even when I was home the first few weeks. I remember trying to shower by myself, and every time that I tried to shower, my vision would blur out. It felt like I was gonna pass out and faint. And it was just such a scary experience that I was like not even looking forward to a normal thing like a shower. Like, I was just so scared. Like, my mom was like, did you shower today? And I would just be like, no girl, like, honestly, like, I'm just so scared to shower. Like, every time that I've almost taken a shower, I've almost passed out. Like, like, imagine fainting in the shower and you just fucking die there. Like, that's what I was like feeling. I was like, I'm gonna faint in the shower, and my mom's gonna come home and find me dead in the shower. So like, the first like couple of weeks, like, I would like shower like every other day, and it was like, that's not how I am. So I was like completely isolated from the world. I didn't want to speak to anybody. The pain was just intolerable. My cut just seemed to get worse and worse, and then it just got like bloodshot red. And my mom just started like, she was just like, all right, we're gonna have to squeeze all the pus out. There's a lot of pus in there. So she just started squeezing it out, like just like pressing on it. And when I tell you that it was like so much gunk came out of that shit, like, it was disgusting. Like, it looked thick, creamy, but it was like blood, and it looked like blood clots. It was terrible. It was gross, and it was painful. Like, I would literally be like, ah, like start screaming like a crazy person. Like, my little niece would like look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with her? Like, she didn't know the extremes of the cut, so I would just be there screaming like a crazy bitch. And yeah, so finally I started being able to walk, and that's like maybe like almost at a week and a half of being in bed, like not being able to move. Like, if I had to move or like I had to walk, it took me forever to get places. I was like definitely limperella, limping through my mom's house. So finally, after we got all the pus out, that's when I was able to walk, because I think that's like the pus is what makes it hurt, like, because the infection was there. So I started feeling better. I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling better. I'm going home. I'm a bad bitch. And I'm going to go camping with my friends. We're going to go to a cabin. So we went camping to a cabin. I took acid. I shouldn't have never done that. I was on antibiotics and I took acid. So my body's all tingly. I'm like freaking out. So I left the trip early. And I was like, why the fuck did I even come here? I should have healed. I should have listened to my mother. Like, what did I do? So I came directly home, and then I went to the emergency room where they looked at it. I was like, it's been 2 weeks and it hasn't healed. Like, please help me. Like, I'm over this. So they looked at it and they're like, it is healing, but it's not healing fast enough. What are you doing? So I was like, oh, I'm like cleaning it every day with peroxide. Like, nope, that is not what you're supposed to be doing. Peroxide is for new cuts, and it's also for very minor cuts. Like, this is something serious. So they gave me more antibiotics for another week, 10 days. And yeah, like that kind of helped a little bit. And mind you, girl, like I was trying during this time, like this whole time, I was trying to get my money back from that lady. Like I told her, hey, you fucked up, you fucked my leg up, you fucked my friend's ass up. Like, we need our money back. Like, what the fuck? Like, you were just gonna like damage us, and like I needed that money back. That's $1,000 for me, $400 for my friend. That was just pretty much thrown away because our body rejected the silicone. We're here both sick, and you're the only one thriving, bitch. Like, the fuck? So she was just like, yeah, I'll give you your money back. No, the bitch never gave me my fucking money back. Stupid whore. So anyways, I try to call my bank, and when I call the bank, they're like, well, and I couldn't even really dispute it because it was a cell payment. So I was like, you know what? My old roommate kind of fucked me over. Pretty much just got into my Chase banking and sent themselves some money, trying to like dispute it. And I got the money back in my bank account for like a week while they were investigating. So I was like, hell yeah, bitch. Like, I beat you. I got the money back. Nope. Since they couldn't prove that it was fraud, they took the money back. So here I am, $1,000 less in my bank account with a fucked up leg, going through it. So I got put back on antibiotics, right? When I went to the emergency room. And basically that started help healing it, but like my leg was still pretty stiff. It just didn't feel normal. So the cut started closing up, and I had planned a surgery for an HD lipo back in February, and I had planned it for mid-June. So I'm just letting it heal, letting it go through its thing, and then I decided I was gonna go to Miami and get my surgery done. So I show up, they look at my cut, and then they're like, we can't operate on you with an open wound. Fuck. Here I am, I'm already in Miami. I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's gonna be okay. So the day of my surgery, I show up, and then they're like feeling my leg, and they're like, you know what? It feels infected. We don't feel that it's the time to operate right now. Basically, if we operate on you right now, you can die. Like, that infection that is in your leg can get in your bloodstream, and you won't wake up from the anesthesia. So I was like, you know what? Let's just wait. I think it's gonna be better if we wait. So I ended up rescheduling, so I'm gonna go back August 24th. They put me on the right antibiotics, which have been helping. I've noticed the stiffness has gone away. The cut has definitely dried up. So I'm so glad that I went to Miami and I was able to talk to this renowned doctor, Dr. Cesar Villa, and he's been able to get me in the right path so that I can finally end this nightmare. And so that I can get my surgery done that I've been expecting to get, that I've been looking forward to, and just live a healthier lifestyle. Like, if anything, like from what I've learned from this fuck up of my life, like we all fuck up, we all make mistakes, is always invest in your body. Like, if you want to have a Nicki Minaj body, a Kim Kardashian body, do it. I'm so pro surgeries. Definitely get it done. But do it wisely. Do not inject black market silicones into your body, because you don't know what they're injecting in there. You don't know what your reaction is going to be like, and you don't know what's going to be your reaction. My reaction was completely different than my friend who got injections in his butt. We both got the same thing injected, but our bodies reacted differently. So you don't know. What if this person injects you and then you lose your life? Or you never know. Like, you just have to be careful. And I know that we all have dreams and aspirations, and we all have our insecurities, but we also have to be wise when it comes to this, because our lives are very important. We only get one. We only get one body, and our body's our temple, and we have to take care of it. So I hope that you guys take my experience as the learning experience. Always remember, if you want to get silicone shots, just be like, oh, I remember Gia talked about this, or I know someone that has gotten silicone shots, that had a bad experience with it, that almost died, that was in bed for 2 weeks, that her leg will probably never look the same. So just make wiser decisions, guys. And I hope to have at least provided you guys with some knowledge in regards to silicone. And I hope that this video helps you guys make up your mind to never do it. And if you do it, be careful and just make sure that you take the right precautions. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys for listening to me. I love you guys and have a blessed day.